Namaste. Hello, hello. Thank you so much for dropping by this video. So, for those who've been around my channel for a while, you know I've been on this exploration of what is Neo-Advaita and what is traditional Advaita. And so the pieces that I discovered, first and foremost, was one component of Neo-Advaita is this silly idea that there's nothing to do because you're already enlightened. And some teachers, that's all they teach. Now that is true under very certain specific conditions. And I've talked about that a lot, but as a general mass teaching, it's utter and complete nonsense and BS and really harmful, actually. The second component of Neo-Advaita is saying that everyone should practice self-inquiry, whereas Ramana Maharshi and Adi Shankara are very clear that no, self-inquiry is not for everyone. It requires certain preparation. I've just started studying Adi Shankara's primary text on self-inquiry, on enlightenment, called the Crescent Jewel of, I think, Discernment. The Jewel Crescent of Discrimination. How about that for a title? And in verse 14, in the very introduction, he straight up says, without these preparations, the quest for the self will fail. Thank you for that, Adi Shankara. Just to so clearly state that right at the beginning. So that was the second piece of Neo-Advaita. Now, the third piece I uncovered is that no Neo-Advaita teachers have no lineage, meaning no awake, how to say this? No one who was in a proper lineage gave them permission to teach. Now, there are claims of that, oh, well, I'm in Papaji's lineage, which is meaningless. Papaji was not part of any lineage. Oh, I'm in Ramana Maharshi's lineage. That's meaningless. Ramana Maharshi didn't give anyone permission to teach. Oh, I'm in Nisargadatta's lineage. To my knowledge, Nisargadatta was not, he actually had a guru, but to my knowledge, his guru did not give him permission to teach. And none of the people that I've encountered who claim a Nisargadatta lineage were given permission to teach. So that's the next piece, is a complete lack of credential, which is, as I pointed out, it's like an uncredentialed doctor. It's dangerous, very dangerous. But so I thought I had kind of uncovered the whole Neo-Advaita story, but there's more, and actually it's really important, and I'm not sure how I didn't see it, but the next piece is inaccurate teachings on not needing a guru. Now, Ramana Maharshi was adamant that one needs a guru. He went so far as to say, let me see if I can just find it real quick. No, I can find it. Just give me a moment. Here's what Ramana Maharshi said on the matter. The guru is absolutely necessary. The Upanishads say that none but a guru can take a man out of the jungle of intellect and sense perceptions. So there must be a guru. Now, Ramana said that it didn't have to be in physical form, that it could be through psychic or spiritual contact, but that one absolutely had to have a guru. Now, so what Neo-Advaitians do with that is they'll take other quotes of Ramana's and then basically attack or dismiss this statement of Ramana's. For example, when I presented this to a very popular Neo-Advaita, he doesn't think of himself as a guru, and he's not, but a Neo-Advaita teacher, he said, the self is the self and remains the self, which was his way of trying to say nobody needs a guru because the self is already enlightened. Well, it's true that Ramana said that, but it's taken completely out of context. But more importantly, the fact that the self is already free doesn't negate the need for an external guru to lead one out of, as Ramana said, out of the jungle of sense perceptions, out of the jungle of intellect and sense perception. So there must be a guru. I'm not sure why Neo-Advaitians are opposed to a guru. I mean, many of them make their living. A few of them get free labor and get sex out of pretending to be a guru. So I'm not exactly sure why they're so opposed to this part of, and it's not just Ramana's teaching. Adi Shankara, I think it's in the second verse of his work that, and he revisits it over and over and over again, that a guru is necessary. I don't know why. I don't know what the opposition to it is, but I invite anyone to read the Crescent Jewel of Discernment. I think I'll take a little quick peek right now. And we can just see what Shankara has to say on the subject. Hey. All right. Oops, I thought he talked about it in verse 2, but he doesn't. Verse 3. There are 3 things which are rare indeed and are due to the grace of God, namely a human birth, the longing for liberation, and the protective care of a perfected sage. Now, and so this is verse 3. So this is Adi Shankara's textbook on self-inquiry, textbook on moksha. In verse 3, he mentions that it's a grace of God to have that, but he gets a little stronger. And if you bear with me one moment, I will find it. Okay. Here is verse 8. Therefore, the man of learning, and this is in context, Shankara has talked about someone who's drawn to Vedanta. The man of learning should strive his best for liberation, having renounced his desire for pleasures from external objects, duly approaching a good and generous preceptor. Preceptor is a fancy word for teacher or guru, and fixing his mind on the truth, inoculated by him. So I'll read a few more. Verse 15. Again, this is like chapter 1. Like verse 15 means sentence 15. So here we have Adi Shankara, considered the greatest exponent of Advaita Vedanta. Verse 3, he mentions it. What was it, verse 7 or 8? Now here is in verse 15. Hence, the seeker after the reality of Atman, Atman is the self, should take to reasoning after. And reasoning, in this sense, it is not referring to reasoning in the normal. Reasoning is referring to the practice of discerning what's real from unreal, which it's a whole nother topic, but just want to give some context. Hence, the seeker after the reality of Atman, the self, should take to reasoning, should take to self-inquiry, which that's considered part of it, after duly approaching the Guru, who should be the best of the knowers of Brahman and an ocean of mercy. So these are just a few verses. And but it just goes on and on and on. Over and over, Shankara says one needs a guru. Now, ultimately, yes, Ramana said the guru is nothing but the self. Ultimately, but that doesn't negate the need for one in the relative until you don't need one. So I'm not sure why Neo-Advaita is so opposed to guru, the guru principle. It's a mainstay of Hinduism. Adi Shankara wrote another set of verses about the guru, and I forget the name, but you can look it up. And in essence, it's 8 verses of poetry praising the guru, and every single verse, he says, if you don't have the guru, if your head is not at the feet of the guru, what then? What then? What then? Like, if you have all these riches, if you have all this great, if people respect you, but your head isn't at the feet of the guru, what then? What then? What then? And I'm not like being dramatic. That's what Adi Shankara says. Like, no guru, as they say, you're up the creek without the paddle. So we got 2 people live. If anyone wants to share anything, please do. Otherwise, I'm going to finish up here. So I'm really excited to have discovered one more piece of the Neo-Advaita puzzle. And I really appreciate everyone who takes the time to watch these videos. And if you don't have a guru, and I've said it before, and I'll never tire of saying it, I'm not a guru. I'm a yogi. This guy's a pretty good guru. And I'm still seeking my own discernment as to whether Jesus can fulfill the guru role. My sense is yes. Many of us were raised in the Western world with Jesus deep in our hearts and psyches and culture. He can absolutely help. That much I know. Can he fulfill the guru role, like such as someone's like Ramana? I can't say. My hunch is yes, but find out for yourself. And thanks for saying hello, John. You are very welcome. Appreciate you dropping by this channel, and I hope it is of service. And I invite everyone to check out the Jewel Crescent of Discernment for themselves. And I just want to warn you, it's very different from what you get at your typical Neo-Advaita satsang. It takes a little familiarity with Hindu culture and the Hindu worldview, and but it's well worth it. It's very well worth it. Take care. Much love. The last thing I'm going to say is about that guy, Bruno Gröning, who's my journey into really understanding traditional Advaita and overcoming Neo-Advaita really began by finding Bruno Gröning. He was a very interesting, very, very interesting teacher. You, of course, can do your own research on him, but to anyone who doesn't have a guru and doesn't know where to start, if for whatever reason you're not drawn to Ramana, you can ask that guy for help. He's a fierce helper. And it was once I started studying his teachings and practicing what he taught that I started to really understand traditional Advaita and I started to begin my recovery from Neo-Advaita. Take care. Much love.